Okay, next board members, we're going to go into public comment. We have 4.
Let's do Angie.
3 minutes. We'll start off with Kelly Bush and then Vincent Bates after that. So, Kelly?
Good morning, good morning, Board. My name is Kelly Bush. I'm the mayor of Kearns Metro Township. I hope you can be patient with me. I'm sure you all know what I'm here to speak about today. I wanted to address the closure of Oker Hills Elementary School. And I'm hoping that you can be patient with me because this is very emotional for me. Since December, there has been a wake of deception and destruction that's gone on. It's left the public questioning the transparency of elected officials and the abilities of educators, and it's placed a stigma on a community and the children who attend this school. And I think today is the time to do the right thing. And it's the time to tell the truth. Since December, we have followed up with the people who have taken a stake in the closure of this school. The plain and simple truth is that the policies and the procedures and the process were not followed because transparency was not there. The excuse for this closure was not transparent. Understand that I'm not taking away from the fact that this Oker Hills Elementary was in critical need for help. They were, but they were 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. This school was earmarked for closure due to the population. Granite School District compromised a legislative bill by using every loophole open to close this school to avoid public scrutiny. It was easier to blame it on a failure to achieve than to tell the truth. I have nothing to gain from this. My school's closing. Nothing. But I have integrity. I have integrity. I'm an elected official. I made a promise to every person who voted for me that I would be honest and transparent. Oker Hills Elementary is simply set to close because of population, and 2 Kearns elementary schools are planned for rebuild. The turnaround legislation has now been given a black eye by Granite School District. A bill that was written to hold schools accountable in providing the best education for our children. And Granite used it to cover up the real purpose for the closure of schools. They abused it.
Do you have a closing sentence or two? I know on this.
I'm asking that this board do the right thing. I sat with you, Cindy, at the Capitol with Senator Maine. Unfortunately, she would have liked to be here today. I think we all know where she's at as she's in session. I'm asking this board to do the right thing and to tell the truth today.
Okay. Next, we'll have Vincent Bates.
Chair Huntsman, Superintendent Dixon, members of the board. My name's Vincent Bates. I'm a professional teacher educator at Weber State University. Last time I was here, I shared concerns about the pedagogical performance assessment standards. Since then, it's hit me that the problems run much deeper. Attempts to address teacher shortages by making it easier to become a teacher are compromising quality. Teachers understand exactly why many of their colleagues have left and what it will take to fix things: professional wages, restored benefits, professional autonomy and respect, less micromanagement. Relegating teacher preparation to LEAs is not a viable long-term solution. They don't have the time or resources. It's not their role. One of our largest LEAs is currently diverting funds designated for classroom instruction to a group of educators whose job it is to develop stacks of badges, eventually to be used as watered-down substitutes for rigorous teacher preparation courses. Other LEAs are contracting with out-of-state micro-credentialing companies. Rather than empowering local districts and charters, teacher preparation is simply outsourced to multinational corporations. And if you approve the current definition today in Rule 304, clinical experience, the most important part of teacher education can simply be overseen by the teacher down the hall, who has their own overcrowded classes to teach. We already have local university-based teacher education programs built upon more than a century of research and development, staffed by people with doctoral degrees and years of experience teaching public school. People who live and breathe teacher education. These programs are dynamic and innovative, working in close partnership with LEAs, providing a range of programs throughout the entire state, including online and hybrid pathways. My colleagues have clearly expressed in meetings with board staff that these new policies could eventually put us out of business. It makes a whole lot more sense to let us do the job the state hired us to do. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Sarah Kelly.
Hello, my name is Sarah Kelly, and I'm here as a former teacher, a current PTO president, a spouse of an elementary school teacher, which you probably all know means that my family's involved in that aspect also, and a parent to 4 children, one of which has special needs. And I would like to speak about accountability standards. Our SCC has been very vocal in changing the letter grading policy in favor of the new dashboard. We've worked with other schools in our district to have parents attend meetings to ask the USBE to advocate for this change in the legislature. We've also spoken to legislatures on the Hill. I'm here to thank the USBE for offering vocal support in the recent House Education Committee. Our school is very happy that Representative Paulson's House Bill 198 moved forward. I'm also here to ask the Utah State Board of Education offer even more support before this bill is anticipated to be heard in the Senate Education Committee and on the Senate floor. Letter grading a school negatively impacts their ability to improve, and it often paints an inaccurate picture, especially in low-income schools. The dashboard would be a welcome permanent change. Making that change this year is critical to achieving better outcomes across the state and boosting teacher morale in a time of a teacher shortage. So thank you for hearing me today.
Thank you. Next, we'd like to invite Jen Brown.
Hello, I'm Jen Brown, and I'm here today just to mention the health standards. I have a lot of experience in working with and doing my very best to protect children, and I also ran the Safe Internet for Safe Internet for Utah Kids. I received a grant from the Sorensen Foundation to run that. The main thing with the health standards, I just am concerned about down as low as 2nd grade, they're talking about the proper anatomical terms. I don't feel like that's appropriate for kids that young. And if you look at, like, this book is Good Pictures, Bad Pictures, which is by Kristen A. Jensen, and it's specifically for really young kids. They wouldn't use those kinds of terms in this book. They say things like where your swimsuit should cover, or, or you could even say like private areas or something like that, but not, I wouldn't want to send my second and third and fourth graders to school to feel like they're being taught terms like that. It's just too young for them. And so I just ask the board that you will just be so cognizant of how important the age of innocence is. And I brought just the abstract of an article that talks about the latency period, which is before puberty, and children that are exposed to sexually explicit material. And I'm not saying that is necessary, that's going on in the health standards, but it leads to sexual dysfunction as adults. It's a really good study that it's so important that children before puberty are really protected, that the age of innocence is really honored, and there's a push to lower and lower when sexual ideas and sexual terms are given to children. It's not the right thing. I know it's not the right thing, and it's not the right thing for our young kids. So please just be so cognizant of that as these health standards are being put together, and just remember how important that age of innocence is. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
That concludes our public. Oh, where did I? Oh. Thank you, Miss Lorraine. We have one more. Melissa McKay.
Hi, I don't have much of a voice today. I'm hoping you'll give me a little more of a voice. I'm here first of all to agree with Jen Brown. Second grade is far too young to have an impromptu anatomy lesson in a mixed gender class. I remember when I had my, coming of age fifth grade maturation program, and it's all girls, and I mean even then you're like, oh my gosh, if I can't, like second grade boys and girls, like I have an 8-year-old, it's too young. Second of all, I'd like to discuss a legislative bill that was recently put on hold Wednesday night. It's HB 237 by Susan Pulsifer. It required training on personal cell phone devices in public schools. First of all, I want to say that I have confidence in you as a board. I've met many of you. I would call you my friends, and that's why I'm here today. I've read over your proposed changes to the cell phone policy. I just don't feel like it's quite there yet. I feel like that it's not sufficient for the serious cell phone misuse that we are experiencing in schools, especially in high schools. I spent the last year interviewing teachers, counselors, students. I went into my son's middle school and I talked to the school counselor and I said, what's your policy? And he said, I don't know. I think we allow it in halls but not in classrooms. And I went to the lady at the front desk and I said, what's your policy? And she said, I don't know. She said, I think we allow it in halls and classrooms. And I said, well, kids have 4G network now. They don't really connect to your filtered Wi-Fi. Do you do any kind of training to ask them to get on the Wi-Fi? And she said, no, I don't think so. And she looked at the kids next to her and she said, do we do any training? And they said, no, we don't do any training. And then she said, well, we don't have very good connection in our school. I think that protects the kids. And I was like, oh, crap. Without meaningful in-school training, I don't feel like any amount of wordplay that we do in policies are going to reduce cell phone misuse. Who goes to the link on the website and thoroughly reads the policy? We say that kids and parents are signing these policies, but it's usually a click-through electronic signature where the policy may pop up for a tenth of a second. And the people that I've talked to who have even said that they've signed the policy, I asked them what's in it, and they do not know. That's reality. This proposal even makes it optional for policies to include procedures about how to report misuse of electronic devices and disciplinary actions for violations. It seems misuse is getting worse and worse every single year. New inventions often mean new headaches. My teenage neighbor recently told me AirPods were the worst invention for schools ever. If you don't know what AirPods are, they're wireless ear devices that kids hide behind their hair and they listen to YouTube or music all through school. At least that's what I've been told. Smartphone ownership among teens is 89% currently. So I would urge you today either to work on this in rule for me. I've got my bill here. Can I pass that around, his bill? Okay, so either today, do it in rule or allow Susan Pulsifer to do that in statute. It's based on my 1 year of research into this problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, this concludes our public comment.